of the new InBetween Database feature, InBetween Database Publishing 4.8. So which has been published, I think about 3 weeks ago. Now I want to tell everybody this release is free for every customers with maintenance contracts and of course to our partners. And I hope you will enjoy it. If there's anybody who does not know me, my name is Michael Christopher. I'm Director of Operations at InBetween and responsible for customer relationships. That's a pleasure. Don't be surprised. I will switch now very frequently here from the PowerPoint presentation to the InBetween system because I don't want to show only slides. I want to show you several of the features. I want to show it to you live. Before starting with 4.8, I want to just give a little review on 4.7. What are the highlights we brought last year? Well, I think the most impressive, we have added a complete new output format, Adobe Illustrator. And I just want to show it you. You can simply use for generation, but there's also a DTP client for Illustrator. So I've added Illustrator, and as you know, maybe most likely know it from InDesign, you just put in your credentials and you get a connection directly from Illustrator to InBetween. You select the project you like to have. I have here a nice showcase, hangbags. It's about clothing, where you want to have labels for clothing. So I'm going to the stack products, this is fine. And I want to have a hang tag. And I'm just selecting the product, and same as you do it in InBetween, I want to have, let's say I want to have a label, a hang tag for this benzene, it's the trousers. And I simply draw it to here, to my Illustrator document, and I have here this label, including clipping path, so it's the front side and the back side with all the information available, even with barcode. Or I can add a second thing. This Aviator 85, this is, well, it's not a shirt, it's a ski. So I just put in there, I can also have a label for the InBetween ski solution. So it's very similar as you know it in InBetween. So usually Illustrator, we don't think people will generate catalogs and brochures with Illustrator, but I think they will produce tags and labels and packaging, all these smaller things. I think that will be very interesting to many of your customers. So whatever. We have, for InDesign, we have implemented an automatic arrangement of products. This means if you want to go in InDesign, you can select an entire range of products, draw it to your page, and InBetween automatically arrange it to wherever you have. You can have the matrix layout where you want to have it. You can have the margins, and InBetween will create as many pages as you need it. Moreover, we have improved the connection of data changes, the synchronization mechanism. So just imagine you have an old catalog, you load it, and you just want to know it. What has changed? Are these the correct prices? Are these the correct tests? Are all my products available? And InBetween compares the entire state of the InDesign document with our database. That I want to show you. So I have just created here for this clothing, I have created an old catalog, and I simply want to know now what about the new data. Are there any differences? I am here in InDesign, and I'm going to synchronize, and I say, please, InBetween, just compare my InDesign document with my currently data on the PIM system or wherever. I'm clicking on synchronize. InBetween has compared the data, and I want to have show me only changed documents. So for instance, I see here is a text change. Here at this prices has changed. I can see that just doing this in US. I'm just I have looked at English, but I'm now looking also the English language version to this. Here, for instance, the old text was especially suitable for very attractive women. Now it has been for sporty, active women. Or here's a price change. You have it, and it's ultimately jumps here to something. It was $40, and now the price has increased to $45. There are image changes. Here in this text, there's change. It has timeless shirt in a classic form. New is newly interpreted form has changed. You see everything. And if you say, well, it's fine or it's not fine, you can say, just I want to take all changes or not all changes, and I simply update. And I have all the changes here in my document, everything as is in the PIM system. I have done it. Okay, this was update in 4.7. What else have we done last year in the 4.7 release? We have reduced the file size of our PDF generations. Doing this, we just check when we create a PDF document which characters are used, and we only add the characters which are used in this, not the entire fonts, which can be very large. Also, we improved the image generation. Before of this, now we can also use Photoshop and TIFF documents and insert them into PDF. Also, we clipping past transparencies. All this can be done. It has been done before. This wasn't, but before we had to use InDesign server to generate this. Now we can do this everything good, very good, small, fast, and quality, in good quality PDF documents without any InDesign. Also, we have renewed the font mapping. So we have to map only the fonts one time. And this works even if the font names are different in InDesign than it is in Quark Express, than it is in Windows. InBetween automatic lets this. Also, we have recreated the generation of barcodes. Now it's an image created by InBetween. Before it was text to be written in a special font. So we also have the font in order to make it. And now it works for everything. You don't have to install a font. It's very easier as it has been before. But now I think that's the reason why most of you are here in this talk, this webinar. What is new in InBetween 4.8? So what we have done in Publication Wizard, our tool for the very easy creation just of documents via web, we have arranged a flexible arrangement of elements in floating areas. So a floating area can encompass all kinds of elements, and InBetween will automatically arrange it in some layout forms. It will also automatically place it. It will take as many pages needed. But however, doing this, you have to manually put them in any order, and InBetween will keep this order. There was no possibility to rearrange or resort or grouping them. Now you can define any sort criteria or grouping criteria, and InBetween can sort it automatically in the way you would like to have. Similarly, we have also a very easy way to enter the elements. Before of this, just imagine you want to have your large trading company with 10,000 of products, and you want to assign, make a catalog of 100 products. It takes some time to just draw the products into the frame, into the template. But now you can either do copy and paste, or you can load them from file. It's much easier. I want to show it, what is been done. I'm going to Publication Wizard. I'm just want here showcase, so it's an advertisement ship of a food store. What is it? And I want to create like this. I have here lots of products. Here, so here is a ketchup. and all this. And I have them in a sequence, but I want to rearrange them. Rearranging things, I have added some sorting criteria, and now I want to say, well, let's say sort them by product name or sort them by article number. It's an article, but maybe I want to sort them by prices. So the cheapest price is first, or I want to other way around. Just make the most expensive price first. You can have it and simply said, I want to preview it. You can create it. So you can defining sorting this sort criteria is simply done in project editor, where you can go to the setting, data stacks and rule. There's a new thing, custom sorting, and you simply define the value, what you want to have to, I want to sort by article name, just edit, say in which order, and you have any sort criteria, any grouping criteria I would like to have. So here's you in the sorted by price in an increasing order. So the same what I have is adding these elements. So it was not that many elements. How many elements we do have, we can have it. So this means I'm just deleting this. Delete. Opening, if you like, you can have dynamic area and simply say I have very special places on my page, and here I want to have my products and assign them. Can have it, show it, and have the very special places where I have it. Or you can say I want to use a floating area, many of them. And here I simply add the products. So for instance, I can say I want to have all products. Very easy. Assign them, all of them, have a preview. So it will simply create all products now. Yeah. So we have a list of all the available products. But just imagine you are a large supermarket, you have 10,000 of different products in the food range and also non-food and everything. So it's very complicated. If you have really big number to just check, you can filter, you can search, but simply know which product to be entered. There's an easier way to do this. If you know it, you can, with InBetween 4.8, you can simply copy them. Here I give a list of the products. And I can simply, these are the article numbers. I simply copy the article numbers here and I have them. Or I can upload from file. So I have a file with all the article numbers and can send it, I have all of them. And there's also a third way. I can define a basket. Here in the basket, I want to have the products from file, not from file. Have them in the basket. And then show the basket. And then I can decide, oh, I first want to have the praline, the mousse au chocolat, the tea, the wine tomatoes. Let's look how it is. This means we have very different way, very powerful way to add a large number of products very easily here in this publication without doing that much merge without programming, and it's all in the web front end. Okay, what else have we improved for Publication Wizard? You can see what I've just shown. Notification on products out of stock. Just imagine you open the publication from last year, and it's possible that here in this publication are some products, but they aren't available anymore. Doing this, now when InBetween you open an older publication, InBetween checks all the products, are they still available? And if they are not, InBetween informs the user and tells, oh, just listen. Now, this product and this product, they can't be sold anymore. Do you want to keep them, or shall I delete it? It's possible. Same as simultaneous editing of the same publication. It is possible if you have a large, just imagine you have this large supermarket, you have different products manager for food, for non-food, for clothing, for children's wear, and all the different things. And they're all working in parallel on the same advertisement sheet or on the catalog. It is possible, has been before, but now with 4.8, InBetween informs just really there as another user, and they have now created these pages, and they have changed the status of the publication, only that you know it. It really simplifies the cooperation among different users. For the layout improvements, we have, it's on table subheaders. This means header lines in front of header pages, of table rows. It's possible for very, very long year, but usually these headers are only placed in front of the corresponding rows. Now we have the functionality to place them also below the rows. Moreover, we enhance the border style features. This means we can have a border around a frame. This was possible. Now we have, you can see it here in the image, we have a very large diversity of different border lines to be applied. I want to show it to you, what I want to have. So it's a very easy template. What you have to see, it's about coffee. I'm generating a PDF document. So it's, here's about coffee. Maybe I can change to English, sorry. Doing the same in English language. So now it's better for you to read. So it's a coffee, very easy, and it's a very product name, or this product group name, here an image, a description, text, and here the table of different. And now let's say I want to have this type, the type of the coffee or the type of the bean. I want to have this as a table subheader. How can I do this? I simply open the table for edit, and I say here product type. This is the corresponding. Oh, this is the product type I want to have as a subheader. That's everything. I have marked the product type as a subheader. I generate again. And now InBetween automatically creates a header line for the subheaders. So we have them. But just a minute, the header line is always placed in front of the other rows. Now we have the possibility to just put them behind the rows, under the rows. An opening, and I say this is new. I want to align it to the button. Save it, generate. So, and now you can see it's the very same. You have this table subheaders, and they are behind here the products which belongs to this. Maybe this for caption is not the best thing, but just imagine you have some price lists and you want to have a subtotal amount to produce it, then it's better to produce them below the amounts which belong to this. So you can use it, but you're very free here for this format. The same improvement we have done. I'm just reverting what I've done because it disturbs what I want to show now. I'm just deleting the subheader. And I want to have border frames. I'm opening here the regular text frame, and I want to have here around the front, I want to have a border. Just doing and clustering into styles. In between, you have everything style. And I want to have a border style. And I'm changing this. I want to have two colors, the black and the second thing, where we're in between, we like red. And I also want to change the type. What is nice? I think, how about this? So there is a thick line, a thin line, and then a thick line again. And I want to have the border a little more prominent, not 0.2 millimeters, 2 millimeters. So it's okay. So I've changed the border style, saved it. You can see it, the border style, and I want to generate. Now you can see it here. My text frame has this border style with the two red, the inner rectangle is in red, the outer in black, and that is complicated. As you see it, there is the same border style also for the table. That's why I have changed the border style, and you have it. So you can have any kind of borders here with this new functionality, just to make it a little bit more pretty. Okay, this was about layout improvements. What else is new? So this, have you seen it? Yes, a table of contents. Table of contents is also a functionality we have quite a long time. However, when you're creating a table of content, InBetween created this from the generated tables. So this means whenever InBetween generates a header line, they know it. Oh, I have to use this header line for the table of content. But now imagine you can compose a publication from generated pages, where InBetween knows the structure, and also from static pages. The static pages, there may be also some caption, some header, some thing, and I have to use it in the table of contents. However, how should I know it? It has not been generated by InBetween. Now we have to use this combined. The new table of content can use elements of generated tables, generated pages, and also elements of static pages. Here we use the same mechanism from Adobe InDesign. We can also declare a paragraph style and say this paragraph style is associated to a specific level and the table of contents. This means if we have this new table of content, it will apply both pages which are generated by InBetween and also pages we have manually created in InDesign and just inserted into the publication. Also, there is new, we got rid of GoScript. Before InBetween 4.8, we InBetween applied GoScript to interpret EPS images so that they can be used in PDF documents. It worked, but it was, well, it was additional tools. You always have to install GoScript. You have to work with the special features of GoScript that some things are simply not working. So we eliminated GoScript and implemented in the PDF EPS library on our own. This means we can insert EPS images without any GoScript. So we also worked on Office documents. Now Office documents, Microsoft Word, Excel, and PowerPoint are very, very close to the original layout. There is nearly no difference between the output in, let's say, in InDesign and Word, and it's also very fast. For Excel, we have also implemented a new mechanism that instead of creating one worksheet for every page. We can add different pages in the same worksheet, and this allows printing. So you can also use the print functionality in Excel and print the entire catalog structure of the entire price list one page by the other. This I want to show it. This InDesign. There's an office generation. I'm opening Publisher, our main front end for the generation, and I want to, let's say, I want to have an outdoor catalog. I want to have in English language and create it as a Word document. Now I have a Word document from this outdoor catalog. And simply we are in work. Here this complex table has been created as a Word table. Simply Microsoft Word. Here also the text elements are entered. We have the correct styles. We have the headers and footers have been created. But it's a Word document. You can do any changes you like to have. So same is, let's say we go to the clothing catalog, and this clothing catalog I want to generate in PowerPoint. So I'm opening the same in PowerPoint. So it's simply just publication presentation here on my new fashion line for our salespersons who are working, and they have to address it, and we can tell them, oh, here's the benefits of this new shirt, or here's this new trousers, and here you can go to the department store and tell the people what is new in the new fashion line, just as a PowerPoint presentation. Or I can say I want to have going to our food section, the grocery department, and for some reasons I want to have this advertisement page I want to have in Excel, in US English. And now I have this advertisement in Excel. So it's simply Excel. You can do whatever. Maybe you want to have some calculations for any reasons, but it's the same as you have it in InDesign. You have it also in Excel. Okay, this was about office generation. We also improved Adobe Illustrator output format. I won't show it you again. I have already showed you Adobe Illustrator. Now it's very also detailed truth. And you can also use master documents. For instance, you have some colors, some frames. You can use it and simply, for instance, you have some labels, you have some basic form, creates it in Adobe Illustrator, and just like be in between, I just add the content here to this basic labels. So what else is new? Office document. We are new for the current operating systems. As you may have, Microsoft and Apple created new operating system, Windows 11 and Mac OS 11. These are also supported. If you want to use the new operating systems, you can do this with InBetween 4.8. Mac OS 11, currently we only support for Intel architecture. As you may have heard, Apple has also invented a microprocessor on their own, calling M1. We are currently in the quality assurance phase, and there will be a release InBetween Database Publishing 4.8 SR1, which will come in January 2022. And this will also support M1 microprocessor. And also there's currently the new Adobe InDesign CC 2022. The desktop version came 2 weeks ago, and now since yesterday there's also a server version. We are currently testing things, creating installers and plugins, and this will also support of CC 2022 will come in January 2022. And it's not only a marketing gag, the welcoming box. It looks good, so it's a present for all our new customers. But it's not a gag. Simply we have some information material, some videos, so that new customers can start immediately working with the system. There is a USB stick containing a out-of-the-box version of InBetween, so they can simply add it to their computer system, to their laptop, and start some generations, learn how automated publishing work, create some simply template, so can they start immediately, and all the time where the IT department will take some weeks or months to create the server for InBetween, but the users, they have a first impression what InBetween can. Okay, this was InBetween 4.8. I want to give some impacts. What are we currently working of today? These are working days projects we are working in our development department. Here I cannot tell you exactly when they will come. I can only think that's what we are doing. That's our interesting. Automatic creation of data queries. This will an improvement become. Currently, you always have to create a data query for each element you want to use in InBetween, but we want to automate this. Just imagine you have a PIM system and you have a product, and for this product you have defined 20 attributes. And now InBetween will simply read these attributes and will automatically create data queries. So we have a one-to-one mapping of all these attributes. So if there's a product name, you immediately have the product name. If there is a article number, you immediately have the article number without anything to be done. Publication planner, this will be a web tool for the planning of publication. So you have several catalogs, you have some target group catalogs, you have price lists, you have data sheets. You can simply plan when will this start, when do we have the data, when we can generate, when we can do the finishing, when we can do the translations. You can plan this and you can also supervise this. So we can see it, you see the worksheet, oh, there's a delay, and you can see, oh, I want to see how this catalog currently looks, even it's not finished. So this is a tool for the marketing managers, and they have an overview on all the publishing doing. A new module will be the asset connector. This is a connector to a media asset management system or to image repository in the file system, and allows you directly get the images together with the metadata and simply add them to a document. Just imagine you are in InDesign and you have product data, but now you want to have some stock photos. You go to image repository, you search about the metadata, what kind of image you want to have, and you simply drag it into your publication if you have it. Also, the Office client, we have the DTP client already, which is available for InDesign, Quark Express, and now for Illustrator. But for the Office clients, we don't have something, but I think we should create this. Just imagine you are a technical editor, you're writing instruction manuals, and you always want to work in Word. Why do you have to use a different tool? So they want to have, same as we've done in InDesign, we want to have a front end in Word, in Excel, in PowerPoint, so to get all the functionality of InBetween in your favorite Office application. A new InDesign renderer. Well, on the InDesign renderer works good, but we want to know how we can improve it, and we have seen what is currently done when generating an InDesign document. We start with one frame, then the next frame. It's a very low level, and there's much communication between InBetween server and InDesign application. Now we want to change it. InBetween renders lots of pages, so entire page sequence, let's say 10 pages, and gives the instruction how these pages are to be created, which frames on which page, to InDesign, to the InDesign plugin, and the plugin simply creates the entire page sequence according to the instruction. And there's only one call to get, let's say, 10 pages or 100 pages. This is especially interesting when you using InDesign server in multi-instance mode. Just imagine that you have 5 InDesign instances working in parallel. Then InBetween can say, here, InDesign 1, please create pages 1 till 20. InDesign 2, please create pages 21 till 40, and so on. And then you can see every InDesign server is not creating 100, but only 20 pages. It's much faster, and you can create the entire catalog in a fifth of the time. And then InBetween server collects this data and simply puts them together to one InDesign document. So it will dramatically improve the performance. Caching products for REST data sources. When we connect a data source with a REST data source, this means we have to pull each single document for the query. This is not fast. So we have already started caching product data in a relational database, but this takes a lot of time, because in the PIM system usually we have some complex structure and we have to put this also in table. It's not ideal. So we are using now a graph-oriented database, ArangoDB, and with this we can map any data structure directly to the system. This means in our cache mechanism we have nearly the same data structure as in the PIM system, whatever PIM system it is, and our data queries will react much faster as they are before. Dynamic frame iterator, this is a change I am working. This is especially for technical documentation again. Currently, when you do technical documentation or any documents which are lowly structured, you still have to define different ways. You have a structure, you have a chapter, you have an image, you have descriptive text, you have a table, and then they are filled or not. It's working, but I think we can do this more elegantly. With a dynamic frame iterator, we can simply define a template, which can define a lot of different templates. So here is some help text, some table, different captions, normal text. You simply define different frames, which could be arranged depending on the build, and then say, well, the entire document, we describe in the data which layout to be used for this template. We only define different ways how it could look, and the data defines the sequence and the elements which are really to be shown. I think this will be, we can do great user manuals or this very elegantly. Next thing is creation of web content on the fly. InBetween is used for the creation of web content, but usually this is done in the background. Create me data sheets overnight and links them to my website. Now we are thinking, Riva, the user clicks here and says, I want to have more information on this product, and in this moment, InBetween server creates the information, just let's say as an HTML document or a flipbook on this document, and the user sees the up-to-date information. It is now at this moment available in my data repository. In the time they are waiting for the page to be reloaded. And like I said, InBetween in the cloud. InBetween is already available in the cloud. There are more and more users are interested in cloud services. However, what we do, we simply say we have here a package, same as we do with a physical computer. We have a cloud virtual server with some cores, with some memory, with some permanent space. But you can in the cloud, you can much more. You can very freely scalable hardware, and this could be interesting. So we think, please user, tell us. Or when you really need the calculating powers, then you give you more calculator for. If you need your memories, I give you more memories. So we can see the user now starts creating data sheets or create the catalog. We can simply say, oh, I give for you 100 professor course. It will be very thin, and if you don't use it, we release the professor course, and you don't have to pay for this. So I think if you really use the potential of the cloud, it could be a large advantage for the users.